Well, greetings, Christ the King Parish, and all those watching this video. So May is upon us, and one of the great traditions and devotions we have in our Catholic tradition is that of May baskets. So I learned of this tradition from my mom, who received it from her mom. So it's at least a couple generations in the Cook family, and it might be in your family too. But I still do meet lots of Catholics that have never been exposed to this tradition. So this might be something fun for you to do, especially with social distancing. This is actually a perfect activity for social distancing. Because you actually are going to surprise your neighbors by putting May baskets on their porch or on their door and then running away after you ring the doorbell and so forth. So you're not going to be in physical contact with them. In fact, that's the whole charm, is that when you present a May basket, it's meant to be a mystery who gave it to you. You should never know who gave you the May basket. Much like God's grace, it should be just kind of out of heaven itself. So I'll explain more of those details towards the end after we assemble our May basket. And all you need is some scissors, a stapler with good staples. I use construction paper, colored construction paper. If you want to use some kind of a filler, I just have here some discounted stuff left over from Easter. And then just some things to fill the May basket. So the filler is going to use that. I'm going to show you how we put it in the bulletin for this last weekend, something you could use. Obviously candy, because that's supposed to symbolize grace and sweetness coming forth from the Lord through Mary. And then I also have some holy cards over there, and I'll explain how if you don't have holy cards, or if short stores aren't open right now, you might still have more than you think. So these are all the materials you probably need to make a conventional May basket. So all you do is you're going to just take whatever color paper you want to do, and you're going to make it conical. So you're going to want to make a cone out of it so you can fill it. And I like to make big cones because I really like to fill it with lots of goodies. But it's up to you what you want to do. One of the key things, though, as you're doing it, is to make sure you're using this corner of the construction paper to really make your turn on that. If you do it too big, and you don't use that, it'll just kind of fall apart. It just won't be what you want it to be. But if you really use this as the tip, as going to making your cone, and this is going to be the end of the big part of the cone, and then your refined small part, it'll work much better. So simply starting, and you're going to have to practice a little bit. Right, with this. I usually go the opposite direction, so I'm sorry, I just started the opposite. So this is going to be my point, okay? And I start to roll. Notice how I'm keeping this edge up here. And then here's the crucial part. I'm not just rolling straight, I'm going to turn it so that it's like rotating off of this point like a pendulum. So I'm going to keep it here to keep that narrow, right? You see how we're doing that? And we just keep moving forward on that. And we've got a nice cone shape. If you can see that, we've got the opening with the little tip. That's going to be useful for where we put our handle. And then on the bottom, it's really come to a cone end. And then to keep it in position, simply go ahead and crease the bottom. It's going to be your bottom. And then I think it's going to look prettier if you fold it against your what you're looking at so that people don't see it. Because you're going to just simply staple the bottom. This is, again, you could probably use tape or glue maybe even, but this is so easy. So again, if you look here, I've got the folded back part. I simply take this, and on the lower part, making sure I get all of the paper, right? So this will really work. And I just put one staple, right? Now it just stays right together. I don't have to worry about it. That just stays where it is. And I've got my little May basket. Part of the May basket tradition, at least this kind, if you have a container, you can certainly set that in front of a door. But this is meant to be put on a door handle, which is kind of more fun of the surprise too, because it's not just right before you get trampled, but you kind of look at what's going on. So again, I cut it's about 1 inch wide. You go ahead and just take one of your pieces of paper, and you're going to want to cut it lengthwise. But you can see this is kind of the finished product, right? It's about 1 inch. Now what I'm going to do is kind of make this like a Mobius strip a little bit, and that's kind of an infinity kind of fold of a paper. So we're not going to make just a loop, okay? That would be just a loop, right? Bracelet, yay! All right? But you're actually going to bring it together. So I'm going to hold it up, and I'm going to go this way and overlap the two like this. Okay, if you can see that, right? So this, we're going to take the back side of the basket and go ahead and just affix it Not too high because, again, it's just construction paper, so it's not, you're going to fill it with candy, it's going to get some weight to it. But if you do it just a little bit lower on it and not too far because your stapler has to be able to go over it, all you're going to do is while holding that together, go in like this. Make sure you get right in the center to maximize all the paper and the weight. And I've got it done. Right? Just filled with candy and good things. Now, what are some of the good things you can put into it? So right now, you can still, if you go to the store, although we're social distancing and things like that, be cautious about that if you don't need to. But if you're going out for groceries, you could certainly use some filler. I'll be honest, I rarely use filler because I'd rather put more candy in for people because I think you can't eat this. Please don't eat this, right? But you can put some of the filler in, which is nice because the cone, right, does get very narrow down here. And so this just keeps the candy and other flowers or things up on top, right? So I just use very little, just enough to kind of give it some garnish, right? So it looks a little pretty maybe. So I just fill it up a little bit. You can use anything you want or not at all. But actually before I do that, here's something I wanted to do as a gift to you. So even if you don't have the bulletin from this last Sunday, April 26th, 2020, third Sunday of Easter, we do have tons of copies up here in the hallway outside the rectory. But you can also digitally download all of our bulletins by going to our parish website, all one word, ctkomaha.org. That's ctkomaha.org. But you can print this in color or black and white, but I basically made a thing that you can cut out. It's a special poem. It's one of my favorites by the priest Gerard Manley Hopkins, a very famous Jesuit and poet. And so what I did is to make it, and this is a picture taken by a parishioner. This is from our own garden here just a week ago. A really beautiful picture, I think, of the flowers, because everything about May and May baskets and May Day is a celebration of life. That May is chosen as a month for Mary because in May we celebrate our mothers with Mother's Day. But Mother Nature, if you will, is coming back to life and bearing so much fruit, right? So Mother Nature is bringing back all the flowers and the green of the fields. And we've got the blue skies, no longer winter skies. So we really want to capitalize off of the new life, which celebrates Easter, right? The whole reason why as Christians, Jesus is risen from the dead. And you can cut this better than I am cutting mine, because I'm trying to talk to you at the same time as make this. And of course, you're going to be destroying your bulletin to do this, but that's the intent. Again, it's called the May Magnificat by Gerard Manley Hopkins. I think it's really beautiful. All right. If you don't want to put this little card in that I made out for you in the bulletin, you could certainly write your own poem and put that in there. If you're creative, that would be awesome. Make your own poem about Mary and May Day and just Mother Nature, right, and coming back to life, a new life in Jesus. You could color your own picture of Mary, right? And you can do that not only inside, but one of the things I would do, they don't make them as much anymore, but my mom would buy lots of flower magazines because she loved to garden. And so she let me, again, I ask before you do anything, but I would take those and just cut out pictures of different flowers, and I would also paste those on the front. Just again, flowers just bring joy to everybody who sees them. So you could draw on the outside of this, you could just you could paste another picture onto it, whatever you like. If you have holy cards, I buy a bunch of Mary, but I realize that you may not have a lot of holy cards. However, you might be surprised. This one I actually got, and I just put in there because it says, "O Mary Immaculate, our Mother and Consolation, with confidence I take refuge in your loving heart." So I just put that in as a little gift too, to spread Marian devotion. Again, you could draw your own picture, but oftentimes when we go to funerals for fellow Catholics, we'll pick up lots of the memorial cards, right? And you may want to keep those because it really is sentimental to you. You want to remember the person and pray for them. But I also think it's kind of a cool thing to give those away, because somebody else will look at the back of the card and think of a person they may or may not know and may offer a prayer for them, and there's usually a prayer on the back of it to teach them. So even if you don't go out and purchase holy cards, if you're like many Catholics, if you look around the house, probably buried like in some books or in a desk drawer, my guess is you might have some old funeral cards, and you could use any of those to put in or create your own. Now that we've got some religious objects, because we do want to give honor to Mary, right, in all of this. Now the part that most people are probably going to enjoy. And again, look, Easter. I'm very frugal as a pastor. The parishioners don't always believe me, but I really do like to Stretch a dollar. And these were 75% off from Easter, and they're still good. I checked the date and things, so you might still be able to find, they're good to 2021. But you can use any kind of candy you want. I do think in these days, though you could use candy that's like jelly beans or Skittles, but I probably wouldn't do that now with fear of just different kinds of illness and things, and probably just good all the time, maybe not to use those. And I'm not doing this now because I'm just making it for me, but using gloves, if you're going to give this away to somebody else, is probably a really thoughtful thing to try to do while you're assembling everything, and to make sure you washed your hands beforehand. So I'm going to give this person some Mr. Goodbar, some Hershey's, some Crackle. I'm going to keep the special dark chocolate for myself. They're not going to get, I'm just kidding. So you can obviously have one for yourself, one for your May basket, but I love to fill it up, right? So really give them a lot of candy. Again, that's up. And your mission is to go out, find grandpa and grandma's house, right? Where you haven't seen them for a while, or other family or friends or neighbors, or just complete strangers. That's really fun, right? So go outside on this beautiful day in May Day. Go ahead and put this on their doorknob, ring their doorbell, knock on the door, run away. Don't let them know that you did it, and don't admit that you ever did it. Don't lie either, right? We're good Christians. But you just put that on, you go hide, watch their reaction, and even if you don't see the reaction, they don't open it, eventually that day they'll get it at some point, and you can know in the secret recesses of the home somebody is enjoying some candy, right? Learning about Mary, celebrating Mother Nature and motherhood, right? And Jesus, our Savior, who came back to life for us. So I hope you enjoyed this little video. Hope it wasn't too complicated, but I hope you would consider making the tradition yourself and brightening somebody's day by making them a May basket. God bless you.